Hi everyone, Stu Corbett here, your High River Fire Inspector. Time for another home safety tip, and with the season getting colder, it seems appropriate to talk about two things today. I want to just mention carbon monoxide detection and detectors in your home, and also we're getting into the season for Christmas, so a couple tips there. You can see I'm sitting here by my nice cozy fire, and I have a couple of other things that we'll mention. And I admit I enjoy having them too. You can see some candles across the top here. I have them on my mantle by the fireplace, what I consider a nice, safe, high location without any combustibles around. But some of the stats I want to talk about with Christmas safety. 1 in every 3 fires for decorations is caused by those things, candles, putting decorations too close to candles. Maybe they're wreaths or they're banners or they're Christmas cards or something like that. So keep that in mind when you're using candles and you're putting up your decorations. Anything close to a heat source is not good for decorations. 2 in 5 fires are caused by they are too close to heat sources, whether it's a fireplace or a radiator or a heat vent or even lamps and lights. People often like to hang decorations on their lampshades and stuff. Not necessarily a good idea unless they are fire-resistant decorations. 1 in 4 Christmas tree fires are caused by electrical problems. And that's usually because cords are too old or you might know that there's a short in them. They're not typically caused by the light bulbs anymore because we're now using a lot of LED and that just doesn't generate a lot of light. But definitely if there's a short or a crack in the wire, that can cause a spark. And if you're using a real tree, that can create a problem. And talking about real trees, while we don't have a lot of Christmas tree fires these days, we used to, especially when those big light bulbs were used and candles were used to light the tree. We don't really see a lot of Christmas tree fires now. However, if they do happen, they're usually very serious because they ignite extremely quickly. There are a lot of videos on YouTube and online with the NFPA that you can see just how quickly a Christmas tree will go up. As far as Christmas tree safety goes and ignition of Christmas trees as well, when you're finished using your Christmas tree, make sure you dispose of it safely, not storing it in a garage or letting it dry out in the backyard. It becomes just almost like a match. They ignite very quickly. Some of the things that you can do to make your home a little safer this year for Christmas safety is if you're going to get a real tree, try and pick the freshest tree you can, even if you have the opportunity to harvest it yourself in an appropriate manner, and not on private property, of course. But if you're purchasing a Christmas tree, you can check its freshness. If the needles stay on or are fairly stiff on the branch and they don't fall off when you touch them, that's usually a pretty fresh tree. And a Christmas tree will last quite a long time, especially if it's watered and taken care of every day. It'll last up to 14 days, and that's actually a typical item when we're asked about the length of live Christmas trees in commercial applications. We usually put a 14-day limit on it, and I believe that's also a code item. Artificial is, of course, safer, and they usually come as heat and fire-resistant trees. Try and keep your tree at least a meter away from any source of heat, or from lights, or from heat vents. That's a safe bet. Heat vents will dry a tree out so quickly, just with the furnace coming on, whenever it's needed. It just evaporates that water right out of the tree and out of its container. Don't block exits with your tree. Some trees can get pretty big and pretty wide. They shouldn't be in hallways or blocking any doors, especially if there's a hazard. They might get knocked over and knock that door down. Like I said, water them daily. It's got to be a really important routine. And use indoor lights only. If you're using outdoor lights, they tend to generate too much heat, especially the older ones, and they're just too big for the tree. There's lots of really nice sets out there with indoor applications only, and that's good. The other thing that I want to talk about, because we're approaching that Christmas season, and especially this year, as it looks like we're going to be hit with some more stricter regulations and restrictions regarding COVID-19. We're going to have a lot of families staying home this year, in their homes, spending a lot of time together and inside the home. And as possible lockdowns loom. So again, tree safety is good, but carbon monoxide is also known as the silent killer. You can't see it, you can't smell it, it's the same weight as air, so it disperses fairly quickly through a home if it gets in. There's only one way that you can really keep your family safe with respect to carbon monoxide, and you need to invest a small amount of money. There are cheaper ones, but you get what you pay for. Invest a small amount of money for peace of mind that you have a really good CO detector and you take care of it. For instance, I'll just do this here. I've got one right here, as a matter of fact, in our main area of the living room. Yeah, it's near the fireplace. It doesn't have to be. Just follow the manufacturer's instructions of where it's supposed to go. Some are, I like the ones that are plugged into the wall. They have battery backup if there is a power failure, but they also give you a reading as to if there is any carbon monoxide in the air, and it's not just a false alarm. So again, take care of yourself. No idling cars in garages, not a good idea. No open flame appliances like little barbecues or heating tables and that. You shouldn't be using those indoors at all. Just use what appliances you have. If you haven't already done so, this fall, you might want to have your furnace serviced as well, just to make sure that it's safe and it's doing what it's supposed to do and how it's supposed to do it. Well, that's it for another installment. I'm wishing you all a very safe and happy Christmas season, and I hope you stay well. Take care.